I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and this is Equal Entertainment. Angelica Ross is opening up about the mistreatment she faced while filming American Horror Story 1984. Ross named Emma Roberts and Ryan Murphy. She says Murphy ghosted her about a project that he pitched to do an AHS that starred Black women. Ross says she followed up, but the string-along cost her a job on a Marvel project since she had a first-position deal with FX. The star is also pointing out that Emma Roberts used anti-trans rhetoric and insulted Ross's journey as a woman. But Ross says that Roberts did call to apologize to her, and Ross hopes Roberts will do better and support social justice causes with her platform. Later, Ross tweeted that she is leaving Hollywood. Late-night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel is canceling the Strike Force 3 show in Las Vegas after testing positive for COVID. The live event would have been the first time that Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Stephen Colbert shared a stage together. The trio launched the Strike Force 5 podcast alongside Seth Meyers and John Oliver in August. All proceeds from the Strike Force 5 podcast support staff from all 5 late-night talk shows. Kimmel said everyone will get a refund, but they are working to reschedule. Another comedian is canceling shows in Las Vegas due to COVID. Steve Martin says there is a COVID breakout among the crew. The announcement came 2 hours after Kimmel canceled the upcoming show with Fallon and Colbert. Both Steve Martin and Martin Short were teaming up for sold-out comedy shows, and they say the show is moving to mid-December. Reports around Hollywood say the writers and studios could reach a deal soon after another round of negotiations. But strike captains are still working hard in keeping union members active and vocal. Actor and SAG-AFTRA member Michelle C. Bonilla says being out on the picket line goes beyond solidarity.
So y'all are out picketing. I see it. I've driven by you. I've honked my horn.
Yay!
I believe that, actors and writers could stay home. The very act of not doing the work would maybe eventually get that message up to the studio heads that they need you. But would you talk about why you picket, why you're out there in the heat and visible?
Absolutely. I mean, you just said it. It's a visibility. It's to show not only solidarity amongst ourselves and with our sister union, the WGA. I mentioned how well it is a huge morale booster, and it gets people involved when you share common stories of how you've been treated on set, and there's this sort of like idea of like, oh my gosh, me too. Wait a minute, what did you do with that? That's that actually emboldens other members and each other to continue to go back the next day. But what it also does simultaneously is that it lets the public know from around the country that we too are a labor movement, just like the hotel workers here in Los Angeles went on strike, just like the nurses went on strike. We are a union, a proud union made up of laborers. I mean, so that is why we strike. We strike because, and let me give you a real world example of it. Currently, if you were on a day, if you were working as a day player, you'd get $1,082 a day. But remember, you are also auditioning among thousands of people now, all over the world for that same job. So for your viewers, can you imagine auditioning for your job every day? Or, when you finally get that job, what we were requesting was an 11% increase in that first year. And what that is only $119.
Right.
That's for me, a gas of, a full tank of gas.
Right. Here in LA, especially.
Yes. And what they were proposing was $54.10, a 5% increase. That's nothing. That is an insult. I went to Trader Joe's and just getting bread, eggs, some few little frozen things. It cost me $69 for.
Yes.
So to show, and this is why I love that, Tracy, you're talking to me, you're talking to actors, boots on the ground actors, which is what I like to consider myself, because it is a real labor movement. Yeah. It is a reflection of the labor in the United States, all around our country. And we do things differently, but we are the same. And so to have people look and have the optics of what we're doing, that and to have other labor unions come and march with us in solidarity, in union, to prove just that point.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. And I think there's the perception too that people see, I think I've seen really big stars like Juliana Margulies and John Hamm and a few other people who have done really well for themselves. They are names and they're out there on the lines, which I think is incredible. But also I think that there's a perception that those are the people and they're not struggling. However, I think it's important to emphasize that there are people like you who have been working for 30 years, day in and day out. And, and then there are others who are just getting started who are not famous. And this is really, important for them to get their due. So I wonder, would you talk a little bit about the fact that this movement is made up primarily of people who aren't famous, who aren't living in Bel Air?
Right, exactly. Well, and this is a good segue to let you know that it costs every time you work, you earn pension and health, and it costs like $26,470 a year to earn health care.
Yeah.
Now, remember, if you're just making $1,000, it's like you have to 26 times, if you're a guest star, sometimes you can make anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 a week, but you have to put together, 3 of those guest stars to even try to get that, so 98% of our 160,000 membership, person membership, do not have health care. Do not have health care. So this is why it's hugely important to raise these rates. That's why we have our high profile people up there, because they understand this. And they also understand, there's also things that they are fighting for, when they go on location, they're presented with this stipend and assume they have to move to Canada, and they're not paid appropriately for this to live in 2 places. I mean, things have got to move a little bit, and what they're offering is terrible, and certainly as they get more involved with creativity, things also change for them on that level there too. But they're also there to show that support, because even though they're number 1 on the call sheet, everyone else under them suffers,
Right.
including prop masters and all the behind the scene people, because if we don't work, they don't work.
Right.
And so it's this terrible trickle down effect, so when we think of Hollywood and we think of, oh, you're an actor, $1,000, that's a lot of money to make a day. Yeah, but if you are lucky enough to be in that 2%, that is working, great, but what about everybody else? I mean, so this is a huge time, and then, I could just start talking about AI when they're presenting and wanting to replicate our image, our likeness, our voice, and pay us 1 day's work. And in the background performer's case, half a day's work, and use their image in perpetuity, and it's ridiculous. How are we to make a living when meanwhile they're making $1 billion in bonuses, and they can't afford to up our day rates to make them, in this instance of $1,082, $119.
Right.
You can watch the Advocate Channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and thank you for watching.